Now, this is my review of Resident Evil Remastered, which is just a re-release with HD updated scale for the GameCube version in 2002, which that was a remake of the original game back in 1996. Now, I've been playing Resident Evil since 96, and I always loved the series. I hate how it fell off over the years, but I gotta say, coming back to this game, it's great. It aged well graphically, um, and it's convenient to finally be able to play it on modern day consoles because I don't have a GameCube no more. I haven't had one since the early 2000s, and that was around 2002 was the last time I actually played this game. It's been years, so I also forgot a lot of things. So playing it again was actually great because it sort of felt like playing it for the first time again. Period. But even though I still remembered the obvious things, but there was just a lot of stuff I just wasn't used to. Having said that, let's talk about the controls because that's the major difference between this version and the GameCube version. Which all they really did was add the option to use the analog stick, where the character can move a lot more fluid like, and it does actually make it easy to navigate instead of those tank controls we all were used to back in the day for them old systems. But here's the issue I do have with it, which does exist with the original controls, which you can still use because the camera angles are still set at fixed angles. You can't control the camera in this game. There's going to be a lot of times where the camera angle switch is going to throw you off in terms of what direction you're trying to go. You're trying to go left, and the camera angle shifts, and the next thing you know, your character's going right back where he or she left from, and that's especially with the new controls. That's going to be very irritating. It's not game breaking, but it's going to be irritating. Um, a lot of this is really going to be, will it be for new gamers? That's the honest question. Will it be for people who did not grow up in that era? Because games are different now. At that time, graphics, we're talking 32-bit graphics with the original game. There had to be a lot of limitations. The game design wasn't just for the sake of making it a scary game. I mean, they literally had to use fixed camera angles because there were pre-rendered backgrounds. They really had no choice. But now, could this same game be the way it was if it was made today with our game systems? And I gotta say no. And that's the thing. The way the game plays, I'm already comfortable with it, but I grew up on that. However, it's a slow-paced game. It's not linear. There's a lot of exploration, and because of that, there's a lot of all that backtracking shit that's gonna keep going on throughout most of the game. A lot of times, you have very limited inventory, and a lot of times you're gonna go into a room where you have to pick a certain item up, and a lot of times, especially if you pick Chris, his inventory is going to be full. You'll have to run to the nearest trunk or safe room to reorganize so you can go back to that room and pick it up. And you could be halfway across the map, and you got to run all the way to the other side of the building just to get to a safe and then run back. It's a lot of that. So I'm just be warned. I'm not, I forgot all about that, but I tolerate it because the game's worth it. Okay, it's definitely a pet peeve, but it's definitely worth it. Now, see, I remember the original Resident Evil though, back when it came out, and everybody knows it for its voice acting, and definitely the real life actor intro. That was the big thing back in the day, especially when we started going to digital disc to place games on. I mean, the intro is just funny as hell. right, can we watch that again? Can we just? I just want to see this shit again. This shit's hilarious. That's the original Resident Evil eyeball. Who screams like that? Oh, that's classic, man.
It's Bravo team's helicopter. Nobody was in it. But strangely,
These
most
guys,
of
man.
them
Look at Wesker. Looking like
However,
T-1000
they
and
soon
shit.
discovered why.
That bitch was kind of cute, though. This poor ass motherfucker, he gets fucked up. This is when he finds the gun. And this is what the dog sounded like, a T-Rex and shit. Look at this puppet. This is what we had to deal with. Jesus Christ. God damn. They just keep showing his dead body. Joseph! Really? It gets all quiet just so we can keep looking at this dude fucked up. Don't go! Funny ass shit. He looks so disappointed. Now I had to watch that because that was just hilarious. But the voice acting in Resident Evil, oh god, cheesy as hell. But it was so bad, it was good. Now in the remake, it's still bad, not as bad. But I think they did that on purpose to pay homage to the original. But yeah, it's not as entertaining. I mean, the voice acting was just, man, just see for yourself.
Captain Wesker, where's Chris?
Stop it! Don't open that door!
But Chris is...
What is it?
Maybe it's Chris. Now, Jill, can you go?
I'm going with you. Chris is our old partner, you know.
Okay, let me handle this.
What is it?
Blood. Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this. Hope this is not Chris's blood.
Story-wise, I'm not going to spoil the game for you. If you haven't played it, a lot of people have played this game. So, in a way, I really don't have much to say about the story. It's the same story as before. It's the exact same game I played 13 years ago for the remake and 20 years ago when it comes to, well, almost 20 years ago when it comes to the original. So, I really don't have any new info there. The story's old. The game's the same. It's a good game. I could play this game again on the GameCube. It's just great and convenient for the PS3 or PS4 or the Xbox systems if you have that shit. And there's really not much more to add to it as far as my thoughts on it. Now, there's a lot of Resident Evil 4 versus all the old Resident Evils, especially this one. A lot of people say I like the combat better in Resident Evil 4. People keep bringing up Resident Evil 4 because 5 and 6 kind of flopped. But there are people that say Resident Evil 4 is the best Resident Evil in the series. And, of course, there are other people that say the original Resident Evil, especially Resident Evil 2, is the best in the series. I liked Resident Evil 4. I enjoyed it. It was a great game. I mean, I had a ball with it. However, I still like the original games better. Especially Resident Evil 2. That was my shit. It will always be my shit. But I also take into account that Resident Evil 4 was a lot of people's first Resident Evil. This game also has multiple endings, just like the original did. So that adds a lot of replay value to it as well. So there's a lot of reasons to keep coming back to this game. Not to mention you can earn special items and costumes like the infinite rocket launcher or Magnum samurai gun. I believe that's what it was called. There's a lot of replay value to it. Oh, and for you newcomers,
Wesker?
just to let you know, there's no autosave in this game. None.
You're alive.
None whatsoever.
Exactly.
You have to save by
Where's
collecting
Jill?
ink
Thought you were
ribbons
with her.
and finding typewriters to use those ink ribbons to manually save yourself. Not to mention that those ink ribbons are limited, so you have to pretty much ration them as much as possible, because if you use them all up in the beginning of the game
There must be
and
areas.
you die later, you haven't saved in a while, you're gonna restart from the last save point. So let's say you make it close to beat the game, but you couldn't save. If you died and your last save point was in a mansion somewhere, guess where you'll be starting back at? So no, this is good old fashioned save the game your damn self type of game, just like the old days. There is none of that. There's no hand holding in this game, none, which is a good thing. I believe these games are a little too sissified today. They pussified players. I can say that about society a lot. They raising punks. Back in the 90s, games didn't give a fuck. Games, they kicked you while you were down. You know, they even told you sucked.
It's official. You suck.
None of this hand holding, none of this on-screen instructions about how to do things. You gotta learn. You gotta learn how to survive, and I think that's where, especially a game like Resident Evil should stay at. It's convenient to have an autosave, but at the same time, it takes away the challenge. You never really have nothing to worry about with autosave feature, but in Resident Evil, that raises the tension, makes you more cautious. Another thing about Resident Evil though is that it works the same way with ammo.
You okay?
You can't just go around shooting every fucking thing. You have to really ration your ammo. Depending on what difficulty you're on. If you're a pussy, you pick the easy mode, then I guess you don't have nothing to worry about. But if you at least pick normal or especially hard, you have to make wise decisions. You have to decide whether to fight or flee.
I'm sorry.
So a lot of times you should just, if you don't have to kill an enemy, you just go around them.
Watched out for him.
Trust me, save that ammo for the bosses that you have to fight. Don't go around wasting your fucking time
I'm glad
trying to shoot and kill every fucking little thing in sight. It's a waste of ammo. If enemies don't drop ammo out of their pocket just because you killed them. It's not Resident Evil 4. So, damn, I'm just warning you ahead of time. Other than that, though, I think that's about all I have to say about this game. The game is still great, still playable. It's worth $20. And if you're new to the series or just new to the old games, I say this is a good start. So thank you for watching my video. You can subscribe in the subscription box if you want to. You can even donate if you feel you want to. And I'll see you next time. Peace.